Hey everybody, welcome to a special edition of the Two Dudes podcast. I'm Rick, and today we have special topics and special guests. And what I mean by special, I grew up with these guys. This is more than friends, these are family to me. I'm talking about Troya, James, Nifty, and Kaz, and they are here today. We're going to just let it flow. We're going to talk. Hopefully, you gain some insight, some knowledge, and please sit back, relax, and enjoy.
If you start going, here's the problem. If you start going by, well, hey, this guy's doing a good job, let me go ahead and bump him. You're going to run into nepotism. Nepotism is out there. It's across the board.
Oh,
You're going to run into nepotism. You're going to run into racism. So the bottom line of it is this: when you come in, it's like the military. When you come in, this is your set limit. This is the time frame. Now, do I agree with it? I agree. I believe in the old contract that I came up under, which is, you're talking about a 1993 contract. You're talking about damn near 30 years ago.
right.
When they came in with this new modern operating agreement, you had a lot of young kids. You had a system that transitioned fast, and it transitioned fast across the board in management and in hourly workers. So it's kind of like a reset to zero, a reset to 5 to 100. Okay. Because a lot of the old cats that are out there, we've moved up, and it was not enough of us to get our hands around a lot of these young cats to get them lined out.
Okay.
That's one problem. The other problem is just the work attitude of young people. And I hate to say it like that, but when you deal, I can only go on the sample size of what I deal with on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the things, the incentives are not there. What we would call important, just like what you were saying, you kept a job. You didn't have another job or lose a job, not have another one. You didn't have not have a job or and try to keep a woman. It just wasn't going to work that way. This new generation, I don't know, they just don't see it that way.
So,
Okay?
would you say it's more the woman's fault for allowing that? Because you and I both know, all of us know, a woman can set the tone on what kind of man you want to be if that woman's important to you.
Mm-mm,
Okay,
mm-mm, mm-mm,
why not?
mm-mm. No,
Uh,
because if you a real man, first of all, if nothing else, your ego will say, no, no. It's just like now with me, I'm on permanent disability and I'm no longer the breadwinner around here. My ego is scarred. And because me as a man, I want to supply. I want to be the the uh, the breadwinner. I want to be the supplier. But for me, my role has now been flipped, and Debbie's the breadwinner, and Debbie pays majority of the bills now. So I, my whole life, have always wanted to be the breadwinner. I've always wanted to be the supplier to take care of them in the bottom line. So any guy that's got any form of sense, it's if nothing else, his ego should step in the way and say, no, no, I ain't gonna settle for this. So even if a woman is willing, like Debbie's cool, but I think a real woman wants a real man to handle business.
Yeah, but you got to look at the key word you said is disability. So that means you're unable to work based on your physical situation or mental or however you want to put it. That is a disability. I'm talking about a
But
guy.
my ego, but it's still the ego. Man, you go down there and you hustle big time. You fight tooth and nail to make sure you and yours have. That's your nature. That's your thing. And let's just say, well, let me help with this. And you say, yeah, okay. But you still handling business. There's these dudes today, man, that they don't have an ego that says that they have an ounce of shame that a woman's taking care of them.
That's what I mean. At one point, a woman would say, okay, look, you can't sit on my couch and smoke dope and eat Oreos all damn day. You need to find something to do with yourself. And if, like, okay, example, when we were coming up, right? I know plenty of women, but I ain't never had that said to me. But I've had women be like, "Man, shit, when I get home, his ass got to go. If he ain't got no job when I get back, he's got to go." I don't think young women are doing that now. Because if they were, we all know, man. When I say a woman sets the tone, I don't think she sets the tone of the household. But men will do damn near anything if he loves a woman. He jump through a fucking lake of fire. I mean, shit. Look at what Adam did. And God himself said, "Hey, don't fuck with that fruit." And Eve said, "Hey, God ain't looking. You see where we at." So if you can go that far back, at what point does the woman, has she just came to say, well, shit, this is what I got. It is what it is. So fuck it. Is that what it seems?
Let me chime in. I hear where both of y'all going. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this, and from what I've been studying, as far as character, manhood, and getting shit solid and getting it right.
Okay.
It's kind of like a house. All right.
Mm-hmm.
A man's job is one thing: provide foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If the foundation, it's just like with a house. If the foundation ain't right, if it ain't solid, I don't give a fuck what you put in the house. I don't care what kind of paint you put on it. I don't care what kind of furniture you put in it. If the foundation is not right, if the covering is not right, if the security, the walls are not right, everything else is at peril. Okay? It's going to crack. It's not going to hold up to pressure. It's going to be vulnerable. And I don't think, and what I'm seeing, and I'm going to put the blame on us, our generation, me, you, our generation. You know, if you 50, if you 40 to 50 years old, 35 to 55 years old, the state of young people today is our responsibility. Okay, we got spoiled from our parents' generation, the making it generation, the good times generation coming up becoming the Jeffersons. All right, we got it good, we got lax, we made it, which we did. There ain't no never making it. But I don't think what we didn't do is from what I'm seeing, and this is, like I said, this is me saying this, I don't see that we installed the discipline to maintain, to go off of that step board to go to the next level. Because looking at this generation, these kids' generation, and just like what y'all was saying, and like you were saying, a man sitting up on the couch smoking dope, a woman allowing it to happen. That's training on both ends. Because a man ain't, we haven't trained young men, to be that foundation, to be that sturdy. A man's job is to chase and choose, or to chase and pursue. A woman's job responsibility is to know what she's getting. Don't look for the cat that's 6 foot. Don't look for the cat that's playing ball. What's his foundation like? What is he submitting to? What's he gonna bring to the table when shit gets hard? Okay, you the one choosing this nigga when you lay down with him.
Correct.
So don't get mad because what you chose is fucked up. You got to know what you're looking for. If this is your criteria, don't be mad about what you get. So I think the values and the criteria got to be recalibrated on both ends. So, and I'm just like I said, man, I don't see that. My old man, and a lot of people think I'm hard about this. My pops, and y'all know my pops. My pops was not an affectionate dude. Okay, he wasn't mean or anything like that. But what he was, he was a discipline. His love language was supply, because he grew up in a time where he had to take care of 4 other brothers and sisters in the deep South when they was hanging niggas. Yes, all right. So his thing was to make sure that you had provided food on the table, roof overhead. You know what I mean? And you was protected. That's how I grew up. It wasn't no, well, hey son, no, dishes washed, homework done, don't get nobody pregnant, do what you got to do. But you handle your business.
Yes, sir.
And that wasn't, and we haven't, and like I said, man, our generation, in all honesty, for this new generation, have dropped the ball. And that's just my observation of what I see. Dealing with a lot of them at work, and just like what you're saying, I don't get the work ethic. You got a 4-day work week and you come to work 2 days out of the week? Come on, bro. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, man, dude. Yeah, you're right. And I thought about that. And I've thought about that a lot of times because I can't seem to get that answer for that question. And
look who's over in the corner up there.
What you doing?
Oh, hell, look at this. A blast from the past. What up, Troy?
What y'all doing?
person to ask this question.
There you go. Here it is.
Troy,
Yeah.
Yes.
not a
The
question.
other side, point of
Oh,
view.
Lord.
Welcome. It's a pleasure.
Good seeing you, baby.
Good seeing y'all, too.
Yeah.
We were talking about how you have a generation of men that pretty much are very lackluster in this, to say the least. Now, if
All of us.
coming from a woman, because me and Jay was having a conversation, Cassie was included, and coming
Okay.
from a woman, do you find it acceptable that, let's say, for instance, you have a man, you're in a relationship, and your man loses his job, and he comes home and he sits on the couch, smokes weed all day, plays PlayStation, eats Oreos and shit like that, and then just kind of meanders his way to 1 month. 1 month turns into 6 months. 6 months turns into a year, and that's kind of the tone for the relationship for him as a man. Do you think that women have come to a point to where that's acceptable? Because I see that a lot.
Yeah, they do. They have. It's sad, but yes, I definitely agree with that.
Why? Is it that much shortage of a man, or, not to be vulgar or too graphic,
I
Or
think
the question is why?
when you accept that, it's something like broken with you.
or do you think it's because the tip of the penis is so good that why? Why is
I feel like it's something with the women. I found out now that men can get more for less. I cannot put all of that on the men. I put the responsibility on the women. Because as a woman, if you want a grown man, you get a grown man. Period.
okay?
You know, to me, it's something broken within you, because when you are having confidence in yourself, you don't see those type of people.
Wow.
All right.
You don't. You know, most people, if you want a grown woman, that's what you get. If you want a grown man, that's what you go for. You know, and like that, playing the game, my life has no space for it.
You got a certain criteria you're looking for in a person.
Yeah,
Okay.
50. Hell yeah, 50.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody had time for that. Like, how does that work?
You go.
This is like, I'm quite sure I'm married to Cassie's sister.
Right.
And, one time we were having a conversation about something, and she was like, well, like when we first moved down here, I had to adjust. And this is before the pandemic, because I didn't have any clients. I only have one client down here. And she was like, okay, we get down here, then I'm going to work and do this. And I said, okay. I said, but I'm really pushing to make this happen. And so she was like, well, what if you took a job at such? I'm like, no. I didn't come down here to start working at Home Depot. And so
Right.
I grind the business and make it happen.
Right.
What I'm going with that is, one time we were talking about something, and she was like, yeah, I want to help you. And I said, I don't have a problem with you helping me, but truthfully speaking, this is the way I look at the relationship. My job as a man in this house is everything in this house is belongs to me in a sense of my responsibility. Your responsibility is to take care of me, meaning
Is it?
I'm okay, but
that's what that is. That's her responsibility. That's all she got. School grinded just to be your wife and make you sandwiches. That's what you saying?
Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
I mean, is that what you're saying to me? I mean, I don't know how that works. She grinded, go to school, get educated to make you a sandwich. How the hell does that work?
Shit.
You gotta come better than that.
Hey, let me tell you how.
That's the Troya I know.
I don't know what's happening here.
If you work, that's a plus. If you,
is it? Her making you sandwiches is a plus?
No.
Oh shit.
No,
Get out of that. Get out of that.
I'm just trying to figure out.
What I mean is, if you work, that's a plus. See, I was taught like this. My grandfather said, hey, check this out. When you marry a woman and she takes on your last name, that's your responsibility. If she works, that's a plus. If she
so she get to work and make you sandwiches. Oh.
turn this every week.
I'm just trying to make sure that I'm understanding how this works
Nip,
for the podcast.
Nip, can I help you out here, bro?
Yeah, please do. Jump in. Hey.
All right. Let's go ahead.
Me out
Let's plan this shit. Let me land this ship. Let me help you land this ship.
Please, I'm sitting in the back right now. I'm in the back.
All right.
Okay.
I get what you're saying, and believe me, I used to be one of the most sexist jokers around.
Oh.
But in my learning, it's like this: there can't be two admirals on a ship.
Oh.
But even if you're the admiral, you may be running the ship, you may set the foundation, but no admiral, no good one, doesn't listen to his crew. He doesn't listen to his first officer, his captain, his navigator. He may have a direction where he wants to go, but he don't know how to get there. So you gotta ask and have that system in place.
Oh.
There's a lot of intuition that a woman has that a man don't have. And there's a lot of organization that they have that a man don't have. And
So
a
being the
smart man,
secretary, so the organization is the secretary.
no,
I'm just trying to
not.
be clear here before I respond. That's not what that is.
no,
Organization.
absolutely not. Hold on, no, not a secretary,
okay.
because let me explain the ship for you. Because the most important person on the ship is the most important person on the navigator is the navigator, because they're gonna have they got the direction, they know how to do it. They
Who's the
know
most
how to
important?
do it.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I mean, the most important is the navigator, because they know how to get there. They know what to do. That's the value. You will be a fool. An admiral would be a fool to try to run a ship without the navigator.
Himself.
I have a question to go with that, okay? Now, say something happens to the navigator, who's gonna drive then?
Well, I mean, you still, huh?
Something happens to the navigator, who's gonna drive then?
Let me step in, because I see where James is going with it, and
I get it too.
To his credit,
that's primitive.
There's a lot of important pieces on that boat. Your chief, he makes sure everything runs tip top. You know, just because somebody is the admiral and somebody else may only be a commander or whatever, that don't mean that the structure is wrong. There's a reason for the hierarchy.
Oh.
Or their position.
Me out with this voting hierarchy is what you're saying.
But it's not a. Okay, all right.
Okay, so
let's go.
I feel like a lot of times it's a lot of primitive thinking, but I feel like as things have evolved, it's your life, your rules. I don't care. Hold on. My grandma lived. It whatever is custom fit for your situation.
Okay. I can G with that.
That's how I see it. I don't see it as, well, my grandpa, your relationship is totally different from that.
But see, what I think I'm gonna say is, I think
a lot of women. What'd you say?
No, go ahead. I'll come in after you.
And I didn't go to school to have kids or make somebody sandwiches. Okay. And I believe in partnership. I really do, because if something happens to my husband today, what do you think I'm gonna do? You think I'm gonna sell this house? Do you think that's going?
No, you still, but no, but you asking the question. Okay, if something happens now,
but it still sounds primitive in a way.
If something happens to the commander, it's not a primitive. It's not primitive, and the reason why I say it's not primitive is that a man that is submitted. Let me take it back to a man that's submitted to God. A man that's submitted to God is not going to abuse a woman, because he understands what he's supposed to be submitted to. So when a man asks a woman to become his wife, take his name, there is a I don't like the word pecking order, but there is a hierarchy. There has to be somebody leading the household. There's covering, and it falls in a certain order. That does not diminish the role of the woman. It doesn't.
Right. It's not leadership like slave master.
Absolutely
leadership
not.
Like pointing in the right direction.
But see,
running the house is what he said. Like cover the house.
And a good leader will also be a good follower.
I'm not a fan. I don't care how y'all.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
How many votes you use, scenarios. Get it, but I also kind of feel like, I feel like you're your team. Period. And it's too often misconstrued. And I'm not a fan of you like referencing religion, because most religions put the women on like kind of to the side. The women are always secondary. So I'm not a fan of that either.
But if you use the team as an example, let's just say football, because we all familiar with football. You can only have one quarterback. You can only have one quarterback.
Right.
He can't throw the ball and catch it. Everybody has their part.
I'll never look at it like that. So it don't matter how you explain it. I'll never look at it like that.
Let me say one more thing.
Hold on.
Primitive way of thinking. I just do. I think that, you're a team. I think that, just like if I had my husband, I rather, instead of him breaking his back working 15 hours, I feel like we grind together, we sit down together. I don't want him out there
absolutely
like that.
Absolutely. No, I'm not against that. I'm not against
I just
that.
think differently. I think differently. So that's why I said I'll never agree with that, because I think differently in that area. I just do.
And that was one.
Well, hold on.
Do I want a man that's a man of God, that understands God's grace? Yes. Somebody that's been through something? Yes.
All right, let's break this down.
Yeah, on that level, yes.
You said that James, you said that you agree with her, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and what I'm trying to understand is, what is it about what James said that you don't agree with, that sounds, you said prehistoric or primitive? That's where I'm trying to come in at. That's what I want to understand, Troya.
I'm getting ready to link that right
now. Yeah, Cass.
Because I'm in the middle.
Okay, go ahead.
I've been listening, because see, one thing, when it comes to military, that's a bad example. When it comes to running a corporation, that's a bad example. When it comes to playing football, it's a bad example. In a relationship situation, in my eyes, there is no dominant. And James, you used the words that I liked, and that was what did you say? You said that the teamwork, what did you say? The admiral and the
hierarchy
and the navigator.
But in the case of a relationship, unless that's the way you were raised, there's no hierarchy. Because I know that there are things in this house that Debbie could never possibly reach to my level, and there are levels on her side. There's just no way I'm going to reach that. So you have to find a medium. There's no hierarchy. There's no.
Now, see, I agree with you, Cass.
There's no head coach.
I agree with you, Cass. But my question to y'all is, then wouldn't you say that at any given point, a man or a woman can assume the leadership role, not on a permanent basis, but every now and then somebody got to be in the front, whether it be the woman or the man, depending on the situation?
Let me say
because I think.
Why does it have to be like that?
I think the word leadership is also a curse word in a relationship. There's no leadership. We work as a team, and you have the ideas of what one or the other has, and you work together in order to find the median foundation. Now, whether Troya has the more knowledge of a situation versus her husband, or vice versa, that's just the team. But when you start saying quarterback and you start saying admiral, now you're saying somebody is running the show. It's just that, this is a Broadway show. Just because there's a director, without the director, everybody else, it can't work that way. It's a team, period. There's no leader. There's no leader.
Let me say one more thing, and this will clear up exactly what I meant, because you got on the subject of sandwiches. But anyway, I'll explain this, and I thought this was the best analogy of a relationship, and Leslie and I live and die by this. When you're in a relationship, it's like being in a band. Sometimes you sing lead, and sometimes you play the tambourine. When you sing lead, everybody in the back is following. But just so happen one day, you ain't singing lead. Your ass is on the tambourine. Don't play the disgruntled tambourine. Get your ass back there and play tambourine like you...
And love it, huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the same thing.
That's not what I heard.
No,
that's what I heard. That's what I
heard. Because
the singer ain't what I heard. I'm just messing with y'all, James. I'm
in the song. You're not messing with me. It's accountability. I mean, I respect what you feel, but there has to be an accountability factor, and the accountability factor, there's only one spot that can handle it.
I'll take care of the band. That is my responsibility. It's not like I'm supposed to just sit back and go, well, you know what? Because I'm not the leader today, it ain't my band. And or this one here, we're thinking, and I'm just gonna kind of sit and wait. It's like the moment that I said, and I will say this right in front of Cass. It's him and I had this conversation. He said, "Hey man, I want you to do me a favor." And I said, "Yeah, what's up?" He said, "You know I love you. Don't hurt my sister." And I looked at him and I said, "Check this out, man. I would never do that. Before I do that, I leave her alone. But that's my responsibility. So no matter what happens, whether she ever picks up another pen to go work anywhere, it's my job to make sure that woman is taken care of."
You're accountable.
With that being said, it's her job to take care of me too. So
Yeah, but it was
But-
how you said take care of you that
Yeah,
I
but
did
see-
not agree with. It was
but
that
see-
part that I didn't necessarily agree with. I mean, that's automatic, but how like you act like that is her only responsibility. Like, you know, your job is to make sandwiches.
who said
That's
that?
all I heard.
No.
I got problems. Pray for me. That's all I heard. And I'm like, and too often that, you know, I talk to a lot of people about relationships, and too often people get caught up like, well, okay, the woman takes care of the kids. No, y'all wouldn't have for them kids. How's that work?
I don't have any kids.
Right.
So
Primitive way of thinking for me. I don't get that, nor will I ever.
And that's not your job anyway.
I done took care of more puppies than I've ever done in my life. I'm like Petco. Well, you know, there are times I'm like, shit, but I get my ass up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and walk them dogs like they belong to me. As a matter of fact, they do belong to me. So when I said that to say, because the subject was, what is it about men that don't take the responsibility or ownership of the relationship when it comes to their woman? You got a good husband, because and to top off, you're a good woman. I don't hear that from women anymore. I'm gonna grind side by side. I hear that from Leslie, but I don't hear.
Well, people don't, their requirements are different. What they require is different. What they will tolerate is different.
Mhm.
It looks different.
That answer.
You know?
So
Huh?
that's
Yeah, it is.
like what has
That's what it is.
caused that, and it's depressing. It's sickening.
Oh, I've seen it.
It's like,
You know, I've seen it. I've seen it. And you know, even when I talk to women and people think I know everything about relationships, I don't, because I'm like not the right person to talk to. Because
I don't know. By reading
dude
your
mentality.
Instagrams, you be getting on down, girl.
I've always been like that. I've always been outspoken. I'm gonna be who I am.
Yep.
That's it. You
Yep.
take it or leave it. You don't like it, that's it. What?
I like that.
And I'm not gonna lie, I steal some of your stuff and put it on Facebook. Hey,
No,
real
I'm not
quick
scared to
quick
be
before
or
we go any
post
further,
nothing. I'm not scared to post
real quick
anything.
before we go any further,
Mhm.
go around the room, around the table, whatever you want to call it. I want everybody to introduce themselves. I'm gonna start with you, Nifty.
Well, okay. I'm Lloyd Cooper III with LC3 Entertainment, aka Nifty C. Everybody in this room is family to me.
Yes.
Family to me. And the best thing that I love about this is no matter what we talk about, it's always something that's going to help all of us. And it's
Right.
love. That's who I am, and I'm glad to be in the presence of all these folks.
Kaz, where you at?
Right here, Cass Calhoun. Shoot, I don't know what to say, man. Just in this room, man. I've been today. What does Nifty used to say? I was a sissy in a room full of dicks. I couldn't wait for this day. I couldn't wait for this time to come because I love y'all to no end to the earth, and I hold on to Troya every chance I get to Troya, and then I looked on the text message and said, "Whoa, wait, Troy's not. Whoa, no." So I had to jump on Troya to get her in here. I just, this crew right here, who says that this shit right here, nigga, this shit right here.
Right here.
I don't
Right
think
here.
I don't think there's a crew out here that can ever top this. This party right here goes all the way back to 5th grade. The Horsemen started out at 2, and it was me and Nifty, and then Troy jumped on the scene while James was still in Marines, and then I met Rich at 87, and then James came home, and it just went boom. And this shit right here, I would never, ever, ever, ever let this go.
Beautiful.
Never,
James?
never.
James, where you at?
Jay win. That's all you get. Next.
Recon.
Really?
That's recon. That's recon.
Now, Troy, I saved you for last for a good reason, because I ain't seen you in
I
forever.
know, right?
I know.
I'll be hiding.
And like I said, we see all those nice little Instagram posts, but those are just words. Now we got words with the face.
Even though I'm barely outspoken, I really like to fade in the background. You know what I'm saying? I truly do. And I just like to say what I'm gonna say, and something if I think it's helpful or whatever. A lot of people think it refers to me. None of that has nothing to do with me. None of it, ever.
You talking about the Instagram posts? Is that what you?
Yeah, I'm kind of, yeah.
Okay, I just curious.
She can get cutthroat on them mugs, can't she?
Yeah.
I never read a lot of Facebook and stuff.
But that's real talk.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I never read a lot of Facebook type stuff. Only time I ever see stuff on Facebook, and damn, I hardly ever see anything on Twitter or Instagram, is if I post something like a video or something of some work that I'm doing, and then one of my kids posts some shit, and my aunt will see it, and then she will call me, because she's definitely old school. She won't text me, and she'll call me and say, hey, with your kids such and such, and then I'll be like, I don't know. And so then I'll go on to Facebook and I'll start looking, and then that's when I get disgusted, because I'm like, I have to read. Oh, today I had ham and eggs, and then I had hot sauce on my eggs, and then I got to get past that. Then, oh, look at these flying shoes I bought. Then I get past that. Then of course, whatever the current event is loaded with, it's either George Floyd or something that happened. And so by the time I weed through everything and see whatever the post was, then I'll be like, okay, that either A, didn't make sense to me, or B, is kind of, and then I move on with my, regular grind, because, when you're an entrepreneur, you ain't got time for that bullshit. You just don't.
You don't.
You don't. You got to be looking down the road. Like, if this happens, how do I take care of what's in this household? That's my responsibility. Everything that's kind of like Mufasa, everything that's the light touches, that belongs to me. That's my responsibility. And like James was talking about, we come from, and I think we all can say this, we come from a generation that accountability was high. It was one. If my father told me, and just like James, I think me and James's father was fucking twins, because my dad wasn't the one to give you all these hugs. Man, you did great. I'm so happy for you. My dad was like, check this shit out. I'm leaving at 5 o'clock. I'll be back at 6. You got 1 hour to get all of this shit done. And I don't want to hear, well, they didn't help me, or, the water was off. When he walks back in that house and that shit ain't clean, that house better be burning down or some shit, and you better be in there trying to put the fire out and finish doing whatever the hell he told you to do.
Amen.
And when I grew up, I thought, man, damn, this dude is always on me. This. But then as I got older, particularly right now, and that's part of the topic of this discussion we having, is I see so many that don't do shit, and they're always crying about shit, and I go, every time I see my father, I go, man, I'm so happy that you was in my shit all the time.
In response to that, I guess why I'm so against, like, kind of like the woman just kind of like, I believe that you always should, when it comes to what's yours, you take care of yours. I'm all in that. But I believe that women too often lose themselves in relationships, kids. It happens every day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm against, like, a woman's only responsibility is to make you a sandwich. I'm like, hell no, like, get out here and get it. You didn't aspire to be somebody's wife or just have kids. That's not all we're living for. But I get what you're saying. But I found too often, what you guys don't know, is that women too often get lost in that.
Damn, you make a really good point, and I didn't think of it that way.
They do.
But now that you say that, there's been times that I've heard Leslie, I'll ask her, I say, hey, what is your purpose? What is it that you want to do?
Like, she'll say she don't know.
She'll literally say, I'm not sure. And
because they've always had to live for their household. And it's cool to be all about your household, but you have other people that contributed to your life years before that. And I'm not a fan of getting lost in love. Love is amazing, but no, that's not all I aspired to have, is like a relationship. No.
Right.
That's it for me.
I said it all the time. I go, fat kids love cake, but that don't necessarily mean that shit's good for them.
Right.
Tina Turner, what's love got?
Yeah.
And
Women get, and some women get caught up in that role by trying to prove that they're a good woman. It's okay to be a good woman. They'll see it. You don't have to do all that. They'll see it. If you are, you are.
I like that, and that really opened my eyes to how a woman can feel like she's lost in what
You can. You can get slighted easily.
Yeah, that's that.
For years.
But-
You see all
but
of this
why?
back here, all the military, all of the having to leave, and then you get stuck with the kids. You can get slighted easily.
Wow.
Easily, you know, and it's like it's cool, but you don't like you have dreams too. And sometimes you can be so busy helping somebody else with theirs that you can forget about yours. It happens every day. I know it may sound, it may sound silly to you.
That brings up another question. If that's the case, if you're helping, like you said, your significant other get theirs and you get lost in how to get yours, but if you don't quite know what yours is, then what do you do?
I took mine. I knew what mine was.
But
I mean,
But I think what Nifty's trying to ask is, if you don't have how do you get your identity?
yeah, how do you?
well,
as
some
the
women
female?
lose it in like again trying to be amazing, trying to be all about their man. It's fine because I'm all about mine all day, every day. But I gotta grind too. I gotta hustle too. I have a business of my own as well, and I work as well, and manage 2 bars. And it's just not, everything's not all about, it's about him, but it's about me too.
We're
It's about both of us.
by the way.
But I guess what I'm hearing is, and from what you're saying, Troya, yours, his becomes the ours. Am I correct?
I'm sorry.
Like you say, it's about you too. It's about you too, and it's about him. And I guess what I'm trying to, that ties into where it becomes the ours.
The hours.
Mm-hmm.
He said that the
Hello?
yours.
Freezing. Your thing is freezing.
Yeah, the yours and the him, yours and his becomes the ours.
Yeah. I believe that you can have separate identities while being a couple. You can do your own thing. I believe that everybody can win.
Yeah.
That the people that don't, that get slighted, for whatever the reason is. I believe everybody can win.
So do you think that's the reason why some of the women that we were talking about, they get, because all the women that I know that put up with that shit, they're workers. They're not slouches. They're like what you're saying. They get their grind. They got something going on, and they're doing their thing. But they're carrying a lot of dead weight, and I'm like, shit. If that's the case, why? Why are you doing that when you quote unquote got your own? And like James said, shit. Like,
Here you are.
They settle.
Yes.
Plain and simple. They
Yes,
settle.
it starts with you. It literally starts with you. Because when you want more and do more, and when your mindset is different, you don't see that stuff.
So how do you get the women that are dealing with that kind of shit a better mindset?
I know. You said, how do I what? I'm sorry.
How do you get them a better mindset? I mean, how do you get them to a point to where they go, I can do better, so I will?
It's like going to the gym. You got to want it.
Well,
you got to want it. You got to put in the work. Like, it really starts with yourself and really coming to terms and doing the work on yourself. It really does. It sounds corny, but it does.
no, it's real shit. I mean,
No, but I hear what both of y'all saying, but I'm listening to what y'all saying. Yeah, it starts with yourself, but then again, if you can't do what you don't know how to do, you can't go where you don't have a roadmap to. So if nobody has showed you, look, kid, this is what you're looking for right here. This is what you don't settle for. And that goes back to what I was saying about our generation dropping the ball with this new generation. This new generation, nobody has taught them to give them what a criteria is, what to look for. This is no, this is yes. And yeah, it starts with you.
It
but
does.
if you can only do what you know how to do. And
But
a lot
what
of
you
what I'm
know-
seeing is they don't know what to pick. They don't
You
know
don't have
what
to
to
be
do.
educated to know that you don't want somebody to punch you in the face. You don't need my kids don't need
No, but I'm
know
just
that.
but just the basics though. The
But
basics.
see,
Not
here's
the
the thing.
stuff that looks good. It's got to be the foundationals.
I
Go
agree
ahead.
with both of y'all, but here's the thing, and this comes full circle with the reason why we all here, because of friendship. And I think we talked about it last week, James. Real friends, they will tell you what you need to know, not what you want to hear.
That is right.
And part of that finding your own identity is when your boys, your girls, whoever, they come to you and say, this is what you need to do. And at that point, if you don't want to get on the bus, if you don't want to get with the program, you don't want it bad enough.
Yeah, but that's too
Right.
late though. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but that's further down the line. I'm talking about the development stages of a person.
Even within the development stages, you have parents that have, like me with my kids, mama, oh my God. You know, it didn't take me till I got older and married to appreciate my parents' words. You give your kids the game, and it don't mean they're gonna take it.
Yeah,
take it what my parents try to teach me.
But if you give them the game, starting off, at least you're giving them something, a foundation to go with.
Yeah, but here I've got the proof. You can put down the foundation of information, and you can be the example in the process. And then when they get out there in society, sometimes it's that other little nigga or some other little girl
and get swayed.
And it don't matter. I told Zaya before Zaya left here, a year or two before he left. I told Zaya, I said, you need to stop wearing black clothes at night. You need to stop walking around in the streets at night. You need to stop being over there in this other township at night. You need to quit doing all this shit. This shit's gonna happen. And his boys kept doing it. His boys kept doing it. And then one night he comes home at 8 o'clock. He's got a stab wound in his arm because he's out there. I found out later in life that he was out there trying to slay, and he got his ass stabbed because they were trying to take his shit. So you sit back, you tell him. I've told him what it's like to have a gun to you, all this stuff, but you can tell them till you're blue in the face. But if they choose not to follow it, you, me, and all of us here, we roll with what came to us. But from this generation, looking at my kids, no.
Well, then, okay.
I'm still to this day saying stuff to them.
Well, but okay, and that's fine. I mean, I hear what you're saying. But the bottom line of it is that there's only two ways that you get wisdom. You either get it by listening to somebody that has been through it. That's one. That's the easy way. Or you learn it the hard way, and that's the way of hard knocks. You got to experience it.
Ooh-wee.
I mean, and that's all it is to it.
Little mama said, hard head makes soft ass.
But I feel like they appreciate it more. Like with my kids, I was strict on teaching them commitment, teaching them to start what you finish. Like I was strict on that crazy stuff. You ask me to do something, you sure can, but try to call me and be like, mama, and say, I don't want to do this. No, you're going to start what you finish. You're going to teach them commitment. You're going to teach them how to act out here. You know, I've always been that strict parent. But, you know, you got to have that one heathen child, which was my only girl. You got to have, but she's a senior in college too. But I mean, it's hard, even when you give it to them, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to listen. And a lot of women, even though they come to me to advice, because I'm so raw, that's what they love and hate about me. They'll stop talking to me because they're like, oh, you hating. Oh, I didn't want anything negative. People don't want to hear the truth. They don't.
Well, but you know what? But when it really hit them in the face, and if they get real with themselves, they got to accept it.
That's why it starts with you. That's why I keep putting it back on the person, because it really does start with you, because somebody can give it to you, be like, I don't want to hear it. You just like with our parents, when they would tell us stuff, you're like, oh my God. And until we figured it out, you know, it didn't matter. Like we didn't hear them until we actually figured it out and was like, oh.
Yes and no. We would not hear them until somebody got in that ass too. You know, you try to play that I'm not paying attention and you get your ass knocked the fuck over. You quickly be like, okay, you meant what you said. Now, one of the things that we didn't touch is you cannot discipline a kids the way we were disciplined because
I
the
didn't.
government has
Yeah.
stepped in and said they have rights. And since they have rights, you know, like what you're going to do to them is inhumane. Like we're treating them like some destined dog on the road. And it's like, okay, I get that, but shit, without me, there is no them. If I don't put food on the table and put clothes on their back, then you're saying that I'm abandoning them and abusing them too. So you can't have it both ways. But they have figured out a way to cut that sword that way. So now, like example, I remember once my baby boy told me, "Fuck you." And of course, I kicked his ass. So he goes
Right.
through the next day and walks into the nurse's office with a swollen lip. And next thing I know, I got child services sitting on my couch. And just like I was raised, I told him straight up, go ahead and take him with you because there's no way in hell that he can say, fuck me. And I still got to feed him, clothe him, and send his ass to school. Because if I don't,
Agree.
then you're telling me that I'm not being the parent I should be. So
Agree.
take him with you. But since that has been implemented that way, now we're in a situation that I don't know who the hell's at the wheel. And I love my kids. I do. But I've gotten to a point with them that since you've assumed the right of a grown up, you do grown shit, then you have to
You
handle
get grown.
I will
Yeah.
advise
You get the consequence.
you want to listen, but you get everything that comes with that. My responsibility is that young skinned woman in it that I love from her head to her feet and them puppies. That's my responsibility. Everybody else, you are, I tell my kids this, and I mean this, I live and die by this. My life is like a dartboard. The bullseye is the people in this household. The other rings is like my parents and you guys and all that. God governs it all, but that's it. And you have to pick that point in your life because guess what? When you out fucking drinking, smoking, you don't be sitting there going, damn, I'm about to smoke this blunt. I wonder what my dad is thinking about me smoking this blunt. You know what? I'm in here fucking right now, and I'm gonna have a kid. I wonder if my dad. Let me call. Hey, Pop. I'm in here getting hellified pussy, and was wondering by any chance, what do you think about that? I never get those calls until it's like, oh shit,
Right.
I don't have money because such and such.
Right.
So now I'm
Right.
supposed to take on back to being quote unquote the parent. So that's the reason why I have that analogy about, and also let me add on to that while that's on my mind, because I did that mistake too. I don't have a problem taking care of somebody that loves me. See, that's where I made a mistake of giving someone something and they didn't give two shits about me. They were concerned about what I could do as opposed to them loving me. So
Mhm.
that's the reason why I don't care what she decides to do. I'm gonna take care because she loves me and she treats me like I want to be treated. Now, I love what you said because that gives me a really good perspective that I never thought about. And
Mhm.
you are 300% right. I think women do get lost in a man's career or his job or his
Just
business.
him, period. I
Him,
see it
period.
so often.
Do not see what they are trying to do with them that has nothing
Mhm.
to do with him. So,
Especially if they start having children and stuff.
and it makes sense. It's like a fucking light bulb when I'm like, okay, now this makes sense. It's not that the woman has low self-esteem. Shit, she's pretty much a victim of loving someone. And
Yes.
understanding, hey, because we as men do that all the time. I know I do that. I mean, I've had conversations with Leslie like that 3 billion times. Like, hey, I love you, but this L3C shit, I eat, sleep, drink, breathe that shit. This is what I was designed to do. That doesn't mean I don't love you. In other words, I understand my identity and what I'm going for. That doesn't mean I don't love you, but when a woman gets so involved in pushing that envelope for her man and the love aspect, and they do not see what is theirs for them, you're right. I that makes fucking total sense to me. Why you'll see like a woman get a divorce, like the movie Waiting to Exhale, and all of a sudden she's just sitting there like, okay, what the fuck do I do?
Yes. because they've been a wife. But I want to touch on the kids part, and I only have one comment, and it's nothing against what you said.
You going?
One thing that I found with kids and parents, this is my only thing when it comes to parents and children, is that too often parents can tear up a kid's life by with the decisions that they make, and they don't feel like, you know, they owe it to their kids to have that conversation. Everybody on this chat has there's something about your parent that you remember that was bad. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't have that type of thing, but these new parents, they're different. Like, they're trifling, and a lot of their decisions, like, I know one chick that moved out of her house, left her kids there to go live with her boyfriend, who doesn't ever want to meet her kids.
Oh shit.
And she feels like as long as she feeds them and pays the rent at her apartment,
Shit.
what y'all want?
That's crazy.
Parents do not, some of them, this is not all situations, but parents do not take responsibility for for messing up kids' lives, even the ones that people that have parents on drugs. You know what I'm saying? Right. That probably were forced to go sell drugs to feed their brothers and sisters. Parents don't feel like they did anything wrong. And that's too often, and it's more common. And that's why a lot of these kids are the way they are, because parents are either focused on their bad relationship, what they have going on, instead of raising their kids the right way. Have you not seen that? That's not every situation, but I've talked to a lot of women, and they're more worried about love than they are anything. If a dude, if they're mad at them, they can't function. Their kids may need them to do something, and they're taking it out on their children. This is like really common, and it's sad. And the only thing I feel like sometimes when kids act out, it's because parents, they're forgetting to raise their children. They're leaving them to do things on their own, even with sports. I've had people tell me, because I have kids that play sports all year round, why you go get them? Make them find their own way home. What you mean you're going to get them? What you mean? I'm like, what? And I have people that have never stepped in any type of gym to watch their kids play, ever. And they've been playing sports their whole life.
Shit,
you right. Look at it on a broader scale.
And that's the thing. If you not good enough to be part of your kid's life, you cannot assume that they should be in any way, shape, or form responsible for you or being part of your life, because you done fucked up at that point.
Right.
And I work for the school system, and I see it all the time. There's a lot of children that get neglected by their kids, and the schools don't help now, because, like you said, Nifty, the government has stepped in. There's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can't do. If a child gets out of line at school, you can't get in their ass no more.
But it's not just.
I mean, your hands are tied.
It's not just school.
Oh, I know.
But a lot of parents feel that way. I'm not putting it on the school. A lot of parents feel like that, even in the classroom. They're like, they expect the teacher to do it all, but she has a disruptive ass class that won't let her teach something. You want to let her get her lesson across, Oh,
make no mistake about it. It starts at home. But it's just sad, because we've become so disconnected as a society that it seems like it's almost common now. It is
exactly
sad.
That's how I feel.
Hey, that was just the first part. We got some more coming to you shortly. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss an episode again. And we appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Stay positive, stay blessed. I'll see you soon.